Hey trainers, welcome to the Pokemon Deck Check, and I'm your host, Poke Dad. Along with me, as always, the Dancing Bear at first base.
KK Schiffel to it.
Great beast in his natural habitat.
Mm-hmm.
Sponsor?
Ink Gaming, your answer to all your customizable tabletop gaming needs.
Agreed. Now, on to the program. We're ranking the tag team.
Indeed, we are.
Tag team from Tag Bolt. I think there's, 6 of them, right? There's 6, so we're going to go through the 6. This is based on our testing so far. So maybe there's a strategy out there that we haven't discovered yet, or a combo with certain cards, with certain tag teams that we haven't found yet, and that would obviously move them up higher. But as of right now, right, just kind of where we are with our testing and experimenting, what's looking to be the strongest. So, starts off here.
For number 6, we got Venusaur and Celebi Tag Team GX. And we haven't really had that much success with the deck. We've tried it with Vikebolt. We're trying it with Venusaur Sceptile right now. We're trying all those methods, and really the deck's not working that good. Its first attack is pretty okay, 50, Poison, Confusion, and Burn.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's okay. And then its second attack isn't really that good for 4 energy, only hitting for 150, nothing else. And then its GX attack's pretty okay, 180 for 4, and if it has more, then shuffle all cards from your discard pile into your deck, and also heal all damage done to Ivysaur.
This card has been the biggest mystery. Well,
I mean,
all right, second biggest mystery. Well, I don't know. It and the number 5 are about equally. At the end of the day, it's a 4 attack cost for 150. Choice band 180. So I mean, you're one-shotting Party Balloon, but they're absolutely smashing face, getting 3 prizes to your 2 prizes. So it's not effective to go in with Venusaur against Blazion. Even when you add Muscle Pad to boost it up to 320, so now it takes 4 energies for a Party Balloon. That's the same as on a Tapu Bulu or a Rayquaza, you know? Unless they have like Beast Energy attached. So let's assume that they don't have Beast Energy attached. So it takes 4 energies to hit Bulu and Rayquaza.
or Choice Band.
So, and both those other cards, Bulu and Rayquaza, hit harder than this thing, right?
Yeah.
So there inherently is the problem. The GX attack is good. 180, and then if you have a third grass as your 5th energy, say, then it can shuffle your whole discard back in. So the best route to go may be like a healing. I hate to say it. I mean, that's always kind of a boring strategy in my opinion, but that may be the only way to go.
My problem with healing is why not just play Wailord at that point?
Right. I mean, there's nothing really one-shotting Wailord.
Better weakness.
But Wailord still has a bad Party Balloon matchup, is the thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Because the Naganados can just keep getting the energy back, and it has energy switches.
And it just has so much energy to begin with.
And what the Party Balloon player can just do is just set up Naganadel and just hit with 80, 80, 80 until you run out of resources.
Yeah.
So that's what we found. Party Balloon is very, very effective against Venusaur as well as Wailord. So then we've thought about the first attack, basing around the 50, the Poison, Burn, and Confusion, adding modifiers. But at the end of the day, it's still a 2 attachment. 2 attachment, if you run all the other stuff around 50, it becomes less consistent and takes up bench space. So you can't really get into your healing cards effectively.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if you're running like Survivors on the bench or Parasect on the bench, and, you know, that's not much room for Tapu Lele or any sort of Oranguru or Macargo, stuff like that, to no draw engine basically. So
Yeah.
and you need something if you're going to be playing like you can't really max potion because then it's still 2 energy attachments. So I'm not seeing it, folks. I'm sorry, just not.
Nor am
I don't think right now it's playable unless you go like specifically healing, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's still 4 grass attachments or a DC and 2 grass attachments. Unless you base it around the first attack, and then at that point you're what, kind of 3-shotting stuff?
Yep.
3, maybe 4-shotting, so yeah.
That's not very good.
I think if I'm going to do that, I'd rather play the Shuckle and triple poison and then like Lichen Rock or something to remove energy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, alright.
Oh, we forgot to switch. I thought you said you switched them.
I switched the numbers, so go. There it is. Nerd.
I thought you fixed that.
Okay, so number 5.
Gengar. So its first attack, 50 times the number of trainer cards in your opponent's hand. They reveal, and then you pick out the trainers, and you do 50 times each. Then its GX attack, for 1 psychic, your opponent can't put down any cards their next turn. And if you add another psychic or another energy to it, then they draw till 7, and you also draw to 7 cards in hand.
This is like Venusaur, a little confusing, but we actually have some new intel from a viewer, subscriber, to try it with Peking Red Card. You can look and see, if you don't see the number of trainers you want there, then have them shuffle and try again. So that it is something that we want to try out, and I think Malamar is a good way to do that because you can repower up the attack, right? So 1 energy and then a psychic recharge. You can go in with the attack to set up a second one, so to speak. At the end of the day, it still went to Dark. Zoroark's going to one-shot you. We're not able to use Muscle Pad or anything like that. So a simple full bench, Riot Speeding is going to eat your lunch.
Yep.
So
big problem.
Until we see a decline in Zoroark play, I think this kind of goes in the binder, right?
Yeah. It's also super hard to play. Just trying to know the right Pokemon to play with it, it's difficult.
We've looked at Sableye with Limitation, but then you're playing Dark and Psychic Energy, so that's awkward. So you have to kind of play Rainbow Energy, and that brings it down to 230. Your Gengar, which doesn't matter too much because you're still getting one shot by Zoroark. We thought about like a Muck with like Poison, and to try to get because your opponent can play around this, especially with the new stadium. They can discard their trainers, find an energy.
Yeah.
So they can play around this pretty good. I do like the Peking Red card, and it is something that we need to try out. But
I do like that idea.
The attack, what I did it a few times, and then just hit for 150, and then Party Balloon easily one-shot me.
Yep.
So the attack kind of feels underwhelming. I do really, really like the GX attack. I think that's the best part about this card. I don't mind not having the extra energy on the GX to where they draw to 7, because that kind of backfired, right? Because I allowed Caden to draw to 7, and then he drew a lot of cards that weren't trainers, and so I went in with the 50 times, and it only hit for 150.
And then I had 7 new cards.
And then you had like Naganadels to immediately evolve and stuff like that, so it definitely backfired on me. So I would not recommend letting your opponent draw to 7.
I think that's one of the main things why I don't like the deck. It's really dependent on your opponent for its attack, and I would just rather play something else where I know for sure I can get the knockout.
It's reminiscent to Empoleon, people can limit their bench to limit the damage. And so you play a sneaky Kukui, right? To surprise them. Because maybe they just limit their bench to 4, not 5. And then the Kukui. But if you Kukui, that's only 170.
Yeah.
So, unless you have choice band or whatever. So, I don't know.
Next card.
I don't have an answer for it.
Alright. Number 4, we got Latios and Latios. So its first attack, Water, Psychic, Colorless, 240. Discard 3 energies attached to this Pokemon. Then its GX attack, for 1 Psychic, put 5 energies from your discard pile onto your Pokemon any way you like. And if you add another energy, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon and any other effects done by attacks.
Okay, I think this kind of is the start of the line where you have Gengar and Venusaur that's way, like, as of right now, not playable, right?
Right.
Now we're into stuff that for sure is playable, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you could probably honestly make an argument for any of these number 4s to move up and the other to move down. This is legit. This is good. A turn 1 Starmie attack basically sets you up the rest of the game, right?
Yep.
And Malamar's just icing on the cake, you know?
It's really just a good 1/1 tech, so just in certain situations you can accelerate 1 more Psychic, and it works out pretty well.
For a longest time, we've gone back and forth, which is better, Latios or Ultra Necrozma, right?
We have.
And I think we can say definitively the Latios is better, right?
Yep.
The GX attack is just so awesome, right? Accelerating 5 and gaining the protection. It's awesome.
Yep.
So, I mean, they have to basically escape rope and then Bloodthirsty Eyes it back up. Or Guzma it back up. In order to deal with it. If not, then you can easily set up another one on the bench or the active to hit them again for big KOs. So
yeah.
We've been playing it with Mimikyu and had success.
Yeah, a good one.
Copying attacks. Yeah. I think it needs one more little partner other than Mimikyu.
Yeah.
So we're still kind of
we've tried Giratina, but we haven't really seen value.
So that's kind of where we're at with Latios. Is we want to get kind of another attacker like the Mimikyu, because it's nice to go in hard with your first Latios, go into Mimikyu or Pokemon X, and then at the end game you have your other Latios. So you basically make them take 7 prizes that way. Is what we found. So. And it's great against Ninetales because Ninetales cannot one-shot you. 70, Choice Band, 100, that's only 200. So.
On to the next.
I think it's good. I think it's playable.
I did too. Number 3. Got Zekrom and Pikachu. GX Tag Team for 3 Lightning, 150. Then search your deck for 3 Lightning energies and attach them to one of your Pokemon. Then it's GX attack for 3 Lightning, and if you have 3 more Lightning applied to the other 3 Lightning that's already on it, you can do 170 to the bench and do 200 to the active.
This is one, I think especially this one, the next one, and the number 1 that we have, I think you could switch any of them around. I'm liking this deck more and more and more based specifically around the first attack, right?
Yep.
We, at first, kind of built it with Magnezone, basing it around that huge GX 4 prizes. Not needed, folks. If you focus on the first attack, you're accelerating 3 lightnings to anything. And that's unbelievable, right? Especially when you get it off on turn 2, right? Or if you go second on turn 1, which has happened, to get that attack off.
It has.
At that point, you just steamroll your opponent, right?
Yep.
It is weak to fighting. That is a concern. But fighting is kind of taking a little bit of a back seat right now, you know?
Yeah, it has.
So I think you've got the green light to go forward with this, right?
Mhm.
So it is scary that the baby buzz can one shot you, you know, for just one energy. So I mean that is scary. But everything else you kind of just steamroll past, you know?
Another thing, if it's like a shrine deck with Baby Buzz, you can get past the 4 prizes with the GX attack, taking 2 knockouts on the Baby Buzzes. Just,
Yep.
and then try and make them put up something that they don't really want to.
Yeah. Would you agree the viable strategy is around building the deck around the first attack
It is.
rather than Magnezone?
Yeah, Magnezone's not really needed.
And you know the Raiku's. You know, some people have thought play it like Raikou and stuff like that, but I don't like that either. If I need acceleration from the graveyard discard pile, then I use Yellow Monkey. And Yellow Monkey being able to free retreat everything, you're already getting weak to fighting. So you might as well play probably the best lightning Pokemon. You know, that, and then you have Zapdos for free retreat. So, I mean, lightning's looking really good right now.
It is.
And then with Zapdos, you know, that's a good answer to fighting because it's weak to lightning.
And resistant to fighting.
Yeah, so definitely a good option there. I like it.
I do too.
100% playable.
It is. Then number 2, Wailord, not looking for its attack, we're just looking at that HP 300. But if you're interested in the attack for 5 water energies, 180. And then water energy, and if it has 7 more water energy, you do 10 damage to the active and 100 damage to all of their Pokemon.
Yeah, not seeing it as a viable attacker, but it could. You know, Naganadel, Quagsire, move those energies up to it.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's possible. This is a monster that really isn't threatened by anything, right? Gliscopod 120, so that's 240. Can't get there.
Blaziken, and that's it.
Blaziken is your worst matchup from our testing because they can just go in with Naganadel and just keep moving their energy. You can't remove 2 energies off every single turn. That's essentially what you have to do because they play so many fires. They're going to attach and then get one back from the discard pile. So they're just going to keep 80, 80, 80, 80. Force you to eventually use all of your healing. So, yeah. But other than that, it has really good matchups across the board, right?
Yeah, it
So.
does. They also can one-shot with the Blaziken, which is another struggle with the deck.
Yeah, Blaziken actually can get there. We didn't think it could very easily, but it can. And then that's 3 prizes. So, I mean, Blaziken's definitely a problem for this deck.
And for our number 1, we got Snorlax. Its first attack, attach an energy from your hand onto this Pokemon. Second attack, 120. And if your opponent's an evolution Pokemon, you do another 120 damage. Then its GX attack for 4 energy does 210. And if you have another one, you can draw until you have 10 cards in your hand.
A viewer suggested we try Kiawe, and we love it.
That worked.
Worked out great with the Kiawe. Turn 1 Kiawe onto it. Muscle Pad, you're already hitting really good numbers. The only thing really that it struggles against is like 130 HP Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
So you're having to 2-shot them with 4 energies. That's kind of bad. So it does need like kind of a partner to deal with those kind of decks.
And I think one of our best combos that we've thought of is put in Malamar, like 2 of. And if you play against your Zoroark decks, you can use Snorlax and just run through them. And if you play against like Blaziken, use your Garatinas and run through them. Just
So
they kind of cover each other really nicely.
and this is something that can be teched into any deck, even without the turn 1 Kiawe, you still have the natural energy acceleration from its first attack. And then being able to one-shot Ninetales, all the EVs, or the evolutions, all the Zoroarks, all the Lycanrocs. I mean, that's just...
That's
like,
a lot of
all
meta
this,
right there.
all the stage 1. There's so much value here with the 4 attack cost. There's a with the second attack. There's so much value there. You're one-shotting every single... you're one-shotting Gardevoir. You know?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of it. You're one-shotting Decidueye. So, I mean, you're probably going to struggle against the other tag team because they're basics. So you're going to struggle against Zekrom and stuff like that. But if you find the right partner to kind of cover it, or even like the Kiawe and your opponent kind of misses the acceleration on Zekrom, then, you know, you could probably do the GX attack to put a lot of pressure on him with Choice Band, you know?
Yeah.
So, something to think about. I think it's good. You can make the argument for, I think, any of the, from Latios, Wailord, or I think Wailord's going to be better in expanded than standard because Blazifon's not as big in expanded. So, something to think about. Anything else, Stanzenberg?
No, I think that's about it.
All right. Well, hope that about covers it and gives y'all an idea of where we're kind of at with our testing on these tag team Pokemon. So, yeah. Till next time, be excellent to each other.
And party on, dudes.